Hey guys, my name is John V. Hill with Vi.Engineered. I haven't really taken the time to introduce myself when it comes down to my social media presence and what we do on YouTube and Instagram, Facebook. Everybody kind of sees what I post on my Instagram, and it's very rudimentary stuff. It's a lot of just day-to-day or finished projects. We don't really go through the process of what it takes to do the entire project. So as of now, I really want to kind of change directions and shift gears into a lot more social media presence and scalability of our builds. I mean, I want you guys to be able to see what we do, not just day to day, but also like the nitty gritty of installing a twin turbo kit or fabrication and how I actually make like the parts we make. You know, when it comes down to like collectors, Y pipes. Transitions, all these different things that we do in fabrication that you guys kind of miss out on. Everybody thinks that what we do is a very simple thing, and I get a lot of calls where people say, hey, I just got a 5-minute project for you to do, just a couple welds, and it doesn't really work out that way. And I think a lot of it is because you guys see stuff happen so quickly online and on TV, and you know, when you watch car channels and stuff like that, a lot of it looks really easy. A lot of it's like fast play. A lot of it is you show an empty engine compartment and then you show an engine compartment that's got an engine swap in it without knowing what went into the motor mounts and the engine brackets and what goes into building the plumbing for the engine, whether it's headers, turbo manifolds, exhaust systems, charge pipes. You know, there's a lot of things that really go into the fabrication and build process and assembly process, more so, that you all kind of miss. So as a company, we're going to start changing directions and showing a lot more of that, and you're going to get to see who works here, who is behind all the projects, and you know, the challenges that we go through and the hurdles that we got to jump, and also the big brain activities that is required when you're making these products. A lot of people think that you could just pull most of the items out of boxes and, you know, it's a complete project. But a lot of the cars that we do here are not really cookie cutter projects. We do a lot of off the wall things with chassis that nobody really supports, nobody really works with. Behind me, I got this old 72 or 73 Toyota Corona Mark II. And this is a completely unsupported chassis. There's nothing available out there. It's almost impossible to even find the front end bumpers, fenders, anything like that. So we're gonna use this as a car to showcase really what goes into building a restomod car on a chassis that's not supported or super desirable or even common. And that's like the biggest thing is the commonality of these cars is just not there. I mean, there's very, very few that are still left in existence. So I'm gonna build a car that fits my liking, because this is my personal car. I ended up getting this from Las Vegas, Nevada, and it's been sitting around for about 6 months. I kind of started toying with it and kind of figuring out which direction I want to go. I've lowered it and I've cut off the bump stops on the bumpers, and now I really want to showcase the entirety of the build where it comes down to like weather stripping, removal and replacement, the engine swap that we're going to be doing, turbo kit on it, because we're going to be doing a 4G63 rear-wheel drive setup. But this is a lot more involved because it's not by a bell housing adapter. This is a very rare setup I'm going to be putting together for this thing. You know, I want you guys to see how cool the project is, to, you know, see it all the way through, start to finish. We do have a lot of running projects out on the streets that we haven't showcased, that I have pictures of on my social media, and you know, you guys have gotten glimpses of them, but nobody's really got to see what goes into it. We're going to be rolling out a really cool Datsun 240Z with an RB26, and that project is almost done. So unfortunately, you guys will see the assembly probably on another video. You'll see the assembly process of that and hopefully the starting of it. Now, that's pretty much done. So it's just assembly, and then we have we have a lot of other projects and products that we put out online that we sell, like off-shelf turbo kits for Beamers, and we make a lot of turbo kits for local shops around here. So my name and my shop's not attached to very many of these projects because they do come in and we build them, and then they go back to the respective builder and they put it together, and it's a finished product. that's something I don't mind. I actually enjoy doing those kind of projects because I have less interaction with customers, and I just kind of just get this car in, knock it out, and send it home. And you know, when it comes down to it, I can't pay attention to every client all the time, and me being a third party is great because I talk to the builder. The builder gives me the specs, and we're just done. He's already resolved all the fitment issues and all the nitty-gritty details of the project with the owner of the vehicle, and that helps me out tremendously. I'm able to kind of just sit down, put my nose to the grindstone, and just build a project within a few days, and we're in and out the door. And we're going to start showcasing more of those also, because they are shorter builds, because we're not doing full assembly. We're not doing you know, we're not priming the fuel system and the oil system. We're literally just building the plumbing for turbo kits and exhaust systems and such. So that's kind of the direction I want to really move my channel towards. We have a lot of fun doing these builds, and we have a lot of time invested into these. We're a pretty close-knit group of people in the shop, so you guys will be able to get to kind of know who's here and who's doing what, and you'll enjoy the people and the personalities here, because we're a lot of fun. When you watch my reels and stuff, you don't get to see any of that. You only get to see you know, 90 seconds tops of us building a car, and there's very little interaction with, you know, with my people. We're all just kind of just assembling, and the car's done and out the door, and that's it. So I really want to kind of get into the daily details of what we do. We'll probably start putting out 1 to 2 videos a week, kind of getting a feel for where we want to go in the direction of how we film and what we focus on. I've spent a lot of time over the last like 2-3 months kind of watching different YouTube channels, and I haven't really got to see something that I really like want to get, like, that I stay focused on, and that I really want to, like, you know, that I anticipate watching all the time. A lot of it is a lot of it's kind of dumbed down, and it's kind of hard to meet that happy medium of, you know, car nerds like myself that do focus on every detail, and it becomes almost an obsession versus entertainment for people that don't really build cars, but they like to watch it. You know, like they like the immediate satisfaction of watching a 20-minute video of a car coming in stock and leaving completely done up. So I'm trying to find this happy medium. So I definitely appreciate all the feedback that you guys could give me in the comment section. And you know, if you guys do enjoy my videos, subscribe, watch, interact. And you can also find me on my social media, like on Instagram. My personal Instagram is JohnVHill82. If you find me there, you're also able to interact with me and shoot me messages. And I'm pretty interactive on there. I don't get to all my messages, unfortunately, because I do get a lot of messages that do kind of fall by the wayside. But you know, if it's important, you can always ping me a couple times, and I'll definitely pay attention after a couple times. Sometimes I do miss, and I'm really sorry about that, but I do get busy and I stay busy. So you know, I appreciate everybody that tunes in, watches, enjoys, and again, you know, I'm always open for feedback. And you know, if you guys say, hey, look, I really enjoyed watching you build this charge pipe system, can you kind of show me the fine details, or can you make a video showing fine details of how you finish the material, or what you're cleaning it with, and what welding products. I'm always interested in doing more detailed videos, as I do hold welding seminars every few months, and I do really enjoy the feedback I get from the people that come into my seminars, and I do try to make sure that I'm staying on top of the details that people do like. It's important to me. I enjoy making content that you guys enjoy. I'm not out here just to, you know, talk my head off, and which is what I'm doing in this video. I'm going to stop, but keep watching. I'm going to start working on this car. It is from Las Vegas, Nevada, and every piece of rubber is completely rotted out on the doors. So I'm going to be putting new door seals on. The car is sitting outside my shop, so in Colorado we do have weather, obviously, and I'm starting to get a little bit of quarter panel rust I've started to notice, and it's coming out. It's draining down the back window. There's a couple spots that the weather trimming has separated. So I'm going to seal some of that up just as a temporary fix, because I have not quite found weather trim for this particular car. I did find door trim, so I'm going to do all the door trim today and kind of give you a little rundown of the car. So keep watching. Thanks. So here she is in all of her glory. Now obviously you can see this door was hit at some point in its life, and it was a poorly done repair. Outside of that, the chassis is actually in pretty damn good shape for being an old Toyota. It's starting to get a little bit of rust here. It's got a little bit of a dent over here. Tail lights are pretty rough, which is okay because I can find those pretty easily. It's got a good scuff and more rust. Now, this isn't like super bad because it's not completely destroyed and all the way eaten through. So I can do some removal of the panels and do some patchwork and it'll be okay. It's a very rare car in the US because they only came with this bumper for 1 or 2 years. I've only personally seen one of these cars with the same bumper, so it's pretty cool. I'm excited to get moving on this thing. You can see we've already lowered it significantly. It was a monster truck. I think I got a photo I'll have to splice into this video to show you guys a comparison. But anyway, past that, it's a complete car. Completely rough car, mind you, but that's okay. I got a couple upholstery guys we could work with on this thing. But most importantly is this trim pieces right here. You can see they're just completely falling apart. So I ended up finding a company in Malaysia that sells reproduction pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and start tearing these out to keep any moisture from getting into this any more than it already has. I'm going to carefully start pulling these off. These are held on by plastic pins, and the plastic pins are probably going to break off and probably end up at the bottom of the door. That's fine because we're going to end up taking off the door panel anyway, and when it gets refinished panels, I'll be able to take all the shit out from underneath that fell in. So now, as you can see, it's literally coming out in pieces and it looks like dust. So I'm gonna try to get all this stuff out, then I'll give it a good scrape after to make sure all the dust is out so the new trim pieces actually fit back in the way they're supposed to. Here's the aftermath of taking off 50-year-old door trim. Now you can see it all came out. Well, it came out pretty clean actually. I'm pretty surprised. The only downside is not a single one of the plastic pins broke off. So I'm gonna have to go through and pull every single one out. Fun times. Okay, so now that I got the old rotted out pieces off, I'm gonna go ahead and start working on getting this stuff re-ran. Now it's interesting because part of it only fits the groove and then others has the pins. So when you're doing these kind of trim pieces, you always wanna make sure you slide the piece into the channel first and then start working your way into the pins. Otherwise, you're gonna end up in a spot where it's really hard to do anything. So now the way it fits the groove, you're gonna basically put the front part in first, slide it underneath, and then you're gonna put the back side in and slide it underneath, and just work yourself through the piece, you know, inch by inch, just making sure everything seats in. And it's a proper gasket fit, otherwise you're gonna get leaks from water. So that's all set in right the way it's supposed to go. You can see how much larger the sealing surfaces over the other one. Got it up in the channel like it's supposed to be. It's all pushed in. Every pin is in place. Let's see how this thing closes. It's got a way tighter seal now. So now that'll at least keep us from getting any more moisture inside the car and some rust forming. Okay, here's the back window. The back door trim. And this one's even more fucked than the front one. This one's mega bad. Probably starts to, yep, it just starts to turn to dust. So obviously this is old as hell, and it's this entire car just needs replacing basically at the end of the day, but it'll all be pretty fresh and clean. And after we get all this stuff done, we'll work on the interior after the swap's all finished up, and probably paint before final assembly of the actual 4G63 swap. But you can see, this thing is just getting fucking annihilated from the wind, the sun, the humidity, the moisture. And primarily this is all being caused by this situation right here, where it's just leaking right past it all. And prior to it coming to me from Vegas, it didn't have any of this spot rust right here. And these trim pieces were not nearly as bad. And the plastic backing on this is pretty much all but rotted away. So this is simply just blocking a hole that goes right into the chassis. Okay, this guy is good to go. Fits nice and neat. Actually, I'm really surprised at the quality of fit on this door. This gasket kit was like $100, so I'm actually shocked at how nice it is. That was about 25 minutes of time spent. So if you ever wonder why it costs so much to restore a car, that's why. Because I'm gonna be doing all 4 doors, which is approximately about an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of time. The front doors are a little easier, but at $140 per hour billable time, you're looking at $280 plus parts just to do the gaskets on this. So there's a reason why shops do charge what they charge. This is time is money. Alrighty, so finally got that out of the way. I've been wanting to do that for the last like 6 months. It really fucking sucked. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of bending, but they all popped out pretty nice and clean. The doors are a little stiffer to close now, so I'll probably have to do some adjustments with the door hinges and the handles and such, maybe grease them up even. But so far, I'm really happy with the fitment of those, and I will definitely be purchasing more for a few other cars that we have coming along. Next, I'm going to show you a little bit of the swap in progress. There's not a whole lot done, but I have built a couple items, so let's take a look at that. This is what I'm working with. So, got the engine in. I built my own custom motor mounts and engine brackets. We got a manifold, top section and downpipe, intake manifold, and throttle body. So I'm going to be using the S90 throttle body, and my intercooler is actually integrated into the intake manifold. I use the lower runners from a RVR, Mitsubishi RVR, which is basically like an Evo 3 minus the EGR delete. I did that because I did not want to cut up this front end. It's too nice, it's too impossible to replace, and it's actually in really good condition. So I decided to kind of stick with this nostalgia and not put an intercooler up front. So what I'm going to be doing is a radiator that's going to be cut about 4 inches short, and I'm going to put a heat exchanger next to it. This car is going to retain AC, which I kept down there with enough space to work around. It'll have heater, power steering. You can see I have my AC there. Down here, AC. We got the alternator. I have to put the power steering on yet, but that'll kind of come as the project gets closer and closer to being completed. This car fits this engine really well. It was originally a 4M motor, so it's a straight 6 with tons of space going to 4-cylinder, and the engine's actually really far back on the firewall, so it'll have a really nice weight distribution. So I'm excited to get this project rolling, get it going, and hopefully within the next couple months I'll have it all finished up. Well, that's our first video for this chassis. There's plenty more that will be coming out. We're going to basically be doing multiple projects at a time, so you're going to see videos sporadically updated per project. I just don't have enough time to devote to one project to stay on it start to finish. So you'll probably start seeing more of the Datsun, which is above this car, the Datsun 240. We're going to start doing more of that project, get that thing all wrapped up, and then we'll be back to this probably within the next few weeks. But as you can see, it's coming along pretty good. I have video footage of me making most of the parts, so I'll probably start adding that into other videos as we get going, like the intake manifold and the exhaust manifold downpipe components. But there's still so much more fab work to go into this. Basically, it's going to be running it's a 4G64 wide block out of a Mighty Max, coupled with it's got a B2600 bell housing from a Mazda truck that somehow matches this engine block. Then it's got a RX-7 Turbo 2 transmission behind it. So, in my opinion, that transmission is going to be better than most of the bolt-on rear-wheel drive 4G63, 64 transmissions. Most of the stuff is either Mighty Max or Starion, which are both kind of junk. And then it's got a 2G head off of DSM. So I'm kind of using the best of all the worlds for DSM parts, and then I only really have a goal of about 350 horsepower on this. I want to be able to drive it around town, have AC, have heater, and not really worry about drivability or having to maintenance the vehicle very much. I want to be able to it's literally going to be a driver. And I want it as simple and rudimentary as possible, because that will allow me to make it a driver. I can hop in it, drive around town, have no overheating issues, don't have to worry about making too much power and having drivability issues with either too much lag or you know, the plethora of problems that come with big turbo cars. So it's going to be running a 3076 turbo. It's all very basic. I want to make usable power is my main goal. So 2.4 liter coupled with a 3076 ought to make 350 horsepower at like 4,000 RPM and stay there till rev limit and be completely drivable. So that's my goal, and I want to make just a really fun car. I want to start building these cars more frequently for more customers that do want to have a cool car. You know, these cars have a ton of soul, a lot of character, stuff you don't really get out of the new cars, you know. I have BMWs and I have other newer cars, and they're just not nearly as fun as these old cars. My Toyota Corolla, that's S2000 swap, is an absolute blast. I can go anywhere in it. I never have to worry about drivability or maintenance or anything like that, because it's so simple, so basic. But I can drive it and enjoy it, and it's got a ton of soul. Everybody loves the car everywhere I go. And that's kind of the goal for this Mark II as well, where I could go anywhere with it, have fun with it. It's a usable car. It's 4-door. I'm going to get the interior redone, so it'll be nice and clean and comfortable. You know, I really enjoy modern drivetrains with nostalgic chassis, because I'm getting old, I guess. And you know, for a long time, my main goal was to own a new car that was fast. And you know, as I started doing that, I started ruining them and just destroying the creature comforts that these cars come with in the sake of horsepower and performance. And you know, I still do enjoy that aspect, don't get me wrong, but I really want to switch gears a little bit and have some fun cars that I can hop in that are nostalgic, that are very analog, that are retro. I really love that feel, and I love I love driving it. I love feeling the road. I love the feedback on the steering. It's a completely different animal. And if you haven't driven a restomod car, I really do encourage you to find a friend or find a group of people that has restomod cars, and you know, hop in their cars, go for a ride. If you got modern cars, you will be blown out of your mind at how fun they are. They're an absolute blast. So keep watching. Thanks for sticking around for this video. I appreciate it. Subscribe and continue to watch what we do in the near future.